because of the recent pandemic, a lot of us have found ourselves going to parks a lot more than usual. So in this video, me and Conor
Hi.
decided to give you guys a full review and breakdown of the 4 main parks in Aberdeen, Scotland.
So quick disclaimer, these are just the 4 main public parks in Aberdeen City, although there are many smaller parks around Aberdeen. We will be rating them based on their size, accessibility and the things you can do in them.
And then at the end, we'll give our full out of 30 score for each of the parks.
Right, so first up we've got Hazelhead Park.
So Hazelhead Park is the biggest park in Aberdeen. It actually opened in 1920, so it's quite an old one. And in it, there's a full golf park. There's 5 huge fields, a cafe, and a play park.
Hazelhead's got a small forest at the entrance. It's got tons of nice little paths and a little ramp that you can go over.
Yeah, here's my attempt at doing a trick on this ramp. It's an epic montage.
So the park's got a road leading into it, and then a little 500-metre running track that people can use for cyclists and runners, and it's got 8 lanes on it, and then on the right of that you've got a huge field with some rugby posts in it.
Yeah, and then just on the left of the entrance there's another big field with, there's probably at least 3 full football pitches big, and then you've got some rugby posts and some more smaller fields around it.
Besides fields, it's got a small park with lots of playthings for little kids. It's got a cafe, which is alright, and beside that it's got a garden and it's got some nice architecture in it as well. It's got 2 golf courses which take up a lot of the park. I personally have played the golf courses and they're very nice, so I recommend them, but they take up a lot of the space, but you are allowed to walk in as well, which is good.
Yeah. You can also run through those golf courses, which is really, they're quite nice grass, so I'd recommend if you're a runner, you can go running on there. There's also some nice paths going through the full park, so if you like walking through woods or cycling, they're really nice. You recommend going through there or just taking a walk. Branch into Countess Wells Woods as well, which is just across the road on the other side, so it's really quite a nice place to go walking around, and quite nice nature there.
Overall, Hazelhead is a massive park. Once you add up the main bit, the golf courses, it's very big. Things to do in it, I suppose if you play golf, you can play the courses. There's a cafe, as I said, which does alright food. There's also a little play park, if you have any kids that would like to play in it as well. And then accessibility, there's lots of paths in the park for anyone can use it. You've got cyclists, runners, there is a road for cars, people walking, lots of paths, lots of space as well, so anyone can use it whenever they want, and it's a really good park overall. Overall, I will give it for size, I'll give it a 9, because Hazelhead is absolutely massive. Yeah. Things to do, if you don't golf, there's not really a huge amount to do, so I'll give it a 6 or a 7. I'll give it a 7. And then for accessibility, there's lots of space, lots of paths for people to go on. I'll give it a 8 for accessibility.
Yeah, so overall I think Hazelhead's it's a quite good park. So the size is obviously, it's massive. I think it was 180 hectares size. It's quite big. Yeah, it's got to be a 9 out of 10 for size. Maybe it could have some more things around there, but it's huge. Things to do, it's alright, it's got a little play park, it's got some gardens, but yeah, there's nothing really that exciting in the middle, so I'll give it a 6. And then accessibility, so it's very, I think, accessible in my opinion, for if you're just going there for a quick stroll, if you're going there for some hard running, they hold park runs there every Saturday, or they used to at least, before COVID. and you can just go there with your with some kids and play around. I think it'll be an 8 out of 10 for accessibility.
It is a very good park overall, and I recommend anyone who's not been there to go and check it out.
Yeah, especially explore around the woods, maybe take your bike or just go walking around. It's really nice.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out. So next up we have Westbourne Park and Victoria Park. We've put them both together because if you've been there, Victoria is literally just across the road. It's pretty much the same. This is part of the same thing. So we've put them together as well. So yeah.
Yeah, Victoria Park, it's quite a nice place. It's got a nice garden. It's got lots of nice flowers around. If you like taking a stroll there, it's a really nice place. It's not too big. It's you can walk around it. I think it's 800 meters a full loop or something. It's got a nice fountain in the middle. This is me and Conor cycling around it, and it even has some checkers boards on the ground. So during summer, that'll be quite nice. Bring your friends, play checkers there.
Yeah. As Alex said, it's got some markings on the ground around the path. It's an 800 meter running track, and every 100 meters it's got a marking, so you can sort of see how far you've run. It's got a lot of trees. It's got a few little nice patches of flowers, but overall, on its own, without Westbourne, it's a small park, very small park.
Yeah. So Westbourne is obviously just across the road from Victoria, and it's about the same size, maybe a bit bigger, but it's where the play park is. There's more things to do around there.
Yeah, Westbourne has it's got some paths for cycling and running. It's got a small stream that runs through the park, and it's got a few bridges over as well. Up to just when you enter into the right, there's a little sort of cycling road system. When I first saw it, I was confused. I had no idea what it was.
There's a bunch of signs there saying, what to do and where to go.
It's like a mini road system. Yeah, we reckon it's for like cycling proficiency for like primary school kids learning to cycle, which is actually really good. I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
And also it's got some very weird benches. It's got a bench with like only one side, so I guess like if you just don't want to sit with anyone, you can just sit on that.
Or you
very
could just do some squats on the other side while you're talking with your friend.
Yeah, I tried to do squats on it.
Yeah, this is Conor trying to do a squat on it. It also has a nice play park just down the back of the right of the park with the usual play park stuff. Got nice swings. It's got nice play park things. And actually just behind it is a grass basketball court. This is Conor trying to do a 3-pointer from it. And just beside both those parks there's actually a skate park. And it's pretty cool. It's got some nice things to do. A lot of our friends who are skaters hang out there. Here's some clips of our friends doing some tricks.
But yeah, with all that as well, it's also got lots of tennis courts. So it's got outdoor grass tennis courts, 2 of them side by side just behind the skate park. But they've been shut down for a while now, which is a shame because they're really nice courts. Indoor, you've got 6 courts, I think. Indoors, which are hard surface. They're all right courts. I play on them quite a lot, but personally, not the best. And then outdoors, you have another set of courts, which are also hard courts. They a few years ago, they got redone from stone. But plenty of options for tennis courts if you're into that kind of stuff. But yeah, overall, size-wise, if we're including Westbourne and Victoria, it's one of the smaller ones. I'll say size, I'll give it a 6. It's not the biggest compared to the last park we did. Things to do, plenty of things to do. You've got the basketball court, you've got a skate park, you've got so many tennis courts, lots of grassy areas, and the little cycling thing as well. And then for accessibility, it does have sort of a ring path that leads you through everything, which people can go on. It's got a road that goes through the middle of it as well. But yeah, there's basically one loop path, which is for like cycling and running and stuff. So accessibility, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. So it's a decent park, solid park.
Yeah, it's fair rating. So in my opinion, overall, the size, like Conor said, it's not the best. It's got 2 parts, but it's just not something you can spend hours there for. I'll give it a 6 as well. Things to do though, I'd have to say it's a 9. There's lots of stuff to do there. It's quite a nice place. And then accessibility, yeah, it's all right. You can go there, have fun, or just walk around and look at the plants and stuff. But it's not the best. So 7 for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
So next up we have Duffy Park. So Duffy is basically a big circle with just a bunch of stuff around and in it. It's located at the start of the old railway line near the river, so it's quite easy to find if you just follow the railway line.
But yeah, around Duffy, you've got 3 big monuments. One of them's like it's at the top of the hill, a big spike up into the sky, and there's a little path up the hill, like a circular path, which you can climb up to and get some nice views.
Yeah, it's a nice park. It has a big open field around inside the loop with a little shelter in the middle, and there's a wide path going all the way around the field, and even more paths around the outside of that. So it's really good for if you're just going there for running or roller skating or because anything like that. The paths are really, really well made.
Yeah. Around the park and the paths, you've got some good scenery, nice things to look at. You can see onto the river especially, which is nice. When you come in, there is a cafe which does really good food and drinks. It does like proper food there, which is really good. On the left side, you've got some gardens, and then like a main feature of it is a botanical garden. They're usually open, but they've been closed to COVID right now. But they're really big, and like so many nice plants in there, and like different environments inside it. It's definitely worth to check out there. It's really nice.
As for play parks, so when you enter, there's a train-themed play park on the left. I'm guessing that's because of the old railway line.
Yeah.
And it's quite nice. It's nice for kids to play around there. It's quite good. And then there's just if you keep going along that path around the back, there's another play park with some like 2 huge slides that go down. They're really fun when it's wet, especially. Recommend you go there, and just go on the slide as fast as you can, and you go flying off it. It's really fun. And then there's also a basketball court right beside it, and even another garden beside the car park with some more play park activities and some cool things to do around there.
Yeah, Duffy is one of my personal favourites, I think. Size-wise, it's pretty reasonable. It does stretch quite wide, so it's not one of the biggest, but I'll give it a 7 for size. It's not massive, but like there's plenty of space to do things. Things to do in it, you've got 2 main parks. You've got the train one, as Alex said, and then you've got one around the back. So
I forgot to mention there's some gardens around the left side with a little like sand pit there. There's a picture of our friend just sitting in it. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
Oh, it's fine. But yeah, it's got lots of parks, and then botanical gardens, cafe, plenty of stuff to keep you entertained for a while. Accessibility, it has the main circular path, which is good, very flat, so as Alex said, good for roller skating and like walking. Really nice to cycle on as well. And then down by the river, it's got some nice pond even. Down by the pond, it's got some nice paths, and then a path up the hill as well. So it's quite good. I'll give accessibility an 8. Maybe a bit generous. I'll give it an 8.
Yeah, that's fair. So overall, the size, I think it's decent, but it's not the best. You couldn't really do too much around there. So I'll give it a 6. And then for things to do, although it's got a lot of stuff to do, it's quite a nice park to visit for like a day. So I'll give it an 8 out there. And then accessibility, you know, you can go there for running, you can go there for a nice stroll, but it's mostly themed around the gardens and the little play park. The field is all right, but it can get really busy, so I'll give it a 6 for accessibility. All right, so next up, which is the fourth and final park, we have Seaton Park.
Yeah, Seaton Park is just right next to the beach and the sea. It's got many roads and paths that go into it, so it's pretty decent.
Yeah, the park has quite a few rugby pitches around the middle and plenty of open space for like picnics or sports. It's really nice on there.
Yeah, in addition to that, it's got lots of off-road paths for cycling and walking that me and Alex have done, and we can tell you they're really fun. It surprises you how long they go.
Yeah,
I didn't know they were there until we did them.
Yeah, they lead right from the gardens all the way down to the river, and they're a bit overgrown, but really nice to cycle or walk down. And it also has some nice gardens that are hidden away from the main park, and they offer a great place to take a break and relax. They're really hidden at the top of the right side of the park.
Yeah, one problem with Seaton is that it's like really, or especially from the side of the city that we live in, it's quite a trek to get there. It's about a 3-kilometer distance, and if you're walking, I mean, half an hour at the very quickest to get there. So if you do go, either get a lift in a car, drive, or cycle, because it's quite a distance.
Yeah. Although it's a large park and has tons of grassy areas as well for paths for walking, and there's a flower garden in the middle of it that goes right down.
Yeah, Seaton's scattered with tons of monuments and like water features around the park. And here's some photos of some of the ones that we went past.
Yeah, so some other things that Seaton has is got a long bed of flowers that stretches across the width of the park. The garden is lovely to take a look at and draws many people to walk around them.
Yeah, for accessibility, Seaton's got a main road that allows cars to drive down, which sort of just turns off the main, quite a big road. So it's good for cars. It's got little like side exits on different sides of the park as well, which you can get bikes and you can walk down. And there's one other entrance on the other side of the park for cars as well.
Finally, Seaton always has some form of food truck or ice cream van available for food for anyone looking for a snack in the park. For my rankings, for accessibility, I would have to give it maybe a 5. It's not the best. It's very far away from the city, and there's maybe 2 main entrances, but they're also a bit hard to get to. And for size, I'll give it an 8. It's pretty big. It's got some good stuff to do around the middle, and for things to do, it's not the best. I'll give it a 6, but that's mostly because of the off-road paths and the river around it. If it wasn't for them, it'd have to be like a 4.
Yeah, accessibility, I've got to agree with you. There's a bit of a struggle trying to find the entrances, because they sort of come off on little side roads, and also like in the park, apart from the off-road paths, there's not really much else. I suppose there's rugby posts, but if you don't play rugby, then
yeah,
all you've got is a few little off-road paths. Size-wise, it's relatively big. I didn't give a ranking for accessibility. Accessibility, I'll give 6 out of 10. Size, it is reasonably big. There is quite a lot of grassy areas for picnics and like playing football and stuff. So for size, I'll give it an 8. And things to do, some cycle paths, some rugby posts. But apart from that, not much. Food truck, but that's not really like, if you're trying to spend a whole day there.
Yeah,
it's not the best.
Entertained for hours, really.
I'll give it a 5 for things to do.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So guys, that's our ratings for the 4 main parks in Aberdeen. As we said earlier, there are lots of little other parks, but these are just the 4 biggest ones that people usually go to. Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you disagree, agree, anything you would change. And we'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching. Peace.
And they say if we'll only avoid any confrontation with the enemy, he'll forget his evil ways and learn to love it.